Alright, day 29, and as you can see, it is yet another blue sky day. Just gorgeous out here, just gorgeous. With a little breeze, maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour so far today, and it is pointing from our face. That's not so good. We're now a little bit away from the Ottawa River. I don't know if you can see, we just crossed a little bridge right back here over the Chalk River. And that breeze is picking up a little bit. Yeah, we've already had our comic relief, hopefully for the whole day, and that was me trying to put my socks on this morning. After the ride yesterday, my back tightened up, so I had this great idea. I'll just sleep it off. I woke up this morning just stiff as a board, so I got up and decided I had to walk around. Before I could go walking around the campground much, I really wanted my socks and shoes on. Had to be there. It was a good one. Oh yeah, I went for a few paces around the campground, took some Advil, excuse me, vitamin I. No trademark problems with the vitamin I. Then basically tried a few things to get my back to move a little bit, and sure enough, that loosened right up. So I'm wondering if that's got something to do with the climbers. I haven't done any climbing at all for a while, and did a little climbing yesterday, especially right at the end. Once you get into the Provincial park, there was a pretty steep hill down to the river, and I rode that twice just for fun. Coming back up was the part that they have decided to make my back a little tight. Nah, we got on the bike this morning eventually. It took a while to get everything booted up this morning, but we're doing great now. Doing great. Well, this is my lunch stop at a little picnic area right off of Highway 17 near Petawawa. Turns out that Petawawa is a couple of miles off the highway, and I think it's because we're going right by a military base that there are no businesses along this stretch of road. So I went into the bag, and you may notice about the bag that I've abandoned my little red blinking light and put on a cry for traffic to not hit me here on Highway 17. Sporting the old maple leaf there, but I got out my peanut butter jelly, a little Coca-Cola. This is actually the very same Coca-Cola that I almost drank last night, but Lana was back in a flash. Set me up with a nice cold beer, which was very welcomed. Things are going along pretty well here. We're averaging 16 miles per hour for the first 2.5 hours. Target today is Renfrew, which is a total of 90-mile ride, so that leaves it's about 50 miles from here, so just a little over 3 hours. My back kind of got a little tender, which is what prompted me to take my break now instead of pushing on for a Subway. I hate to spend, you know, my emergency calories in the middle of the day, just in case you need them later. Also have myself a Mars bar here. Oh yeah. But I think we'll be all right here today. Some traffic, a little bump or two in the road, but overall things are moving along pretty well. I can see how things would shape up for a fine afternoon here. Just have to get back out there and see how things come along. Overall, pretty nice little spot for lunch. Got the place to myself now. There was one other car here earlier. Yeah, those darn leaves are still blowing the wrong way. That wind ought to turn around this afternoon yet, though. What do you think of that? Alright, Highway 17. We are 3 hours and 44 minutes into this fine ride today. And I am having a tough stretch of it here. And I'll show you why. There's one reason right there. There's a second one right there. What's really got me going is Renfrew County and doing that to my shoulder. I'll tell you what, I've got 2 fucking inches to ride on this side of that rumble strip, and I'm having a hard time doing it with that headwind that I was just showing you on those flags over there. Picked up to about 10 to 20, and with a headwind, anytime you get pointed in slightly the wrong direction, it pushes you that way. So I've been bouncing between gravel and into those rumble strips, and they are shaking the hell out of my bike. And I think I figured out what's going on here. I think Ontario is trying to push me into comparisons with North Dakota. Well, it ain't gonna happen. No way. A couple of trucks here and there on a Sunday afternoon. Nah, not enough. Pavement that's shaking the life out of me 4 or 5 days in a row. That's pretty good, but you're no North Dakota. Weather's awfully nice here, except for a rainy day. But I just saw a sign a couple miles back. It said 50 kilometers to Renfrew. So 50K is all you got. 2 more hours, Highway 17. Take your best shot. Because I'm going to say, screw it, I'm getting up on that white line. And I'm going to ride in the damn lane for the next 2 hours. Or until this little pavement situation changes a little bit. It's a nice day. It's kind of warm. Be a great day to be able to reach back and grab a bottle of water and drink from it. But you can't do that riding on this road. No way. Take one hand off the wheel and it's a mess. Ugh. Now that I got that off my chest, kind of nice scenery around here. Seen some farms. I think these are the first cattle that I've seen in quite some time. I don't know if you can see them on the camera here. Way over there. Pretty brown ones. I don't know if those are Jerseys or Guernseys. Oh yeah. I just stopped and took a picture before coming down the hill for a sign that said 18% grade. And I'll tell you what, it was nowhere near 18%. I have no idea what they're talking about. Metric system shouldn't screw that up. But boy, those flags are just a whipping over there now. It's a good headwind day. Probably take me a little over 2 hours to get off of this highway. And tomorrow, it is back roads and heading southeast. Assuming I live to see tomorrow. But I'd make that bet. Everybody's been really courteous. I got honked at once today, but that might have just been a hello. Wearing the maple leaf, you know. So that's my story at 3:44.